All right, so we're going to do another episode of I'm Telling God About This podcast after show where we get it raw, real, and we start talking about some of the unfiltered stuff, right? So here's the thing. With this USAID disclosure, we're seeing a lot of people that have been getting money from USAID. One of them was the Christianity Today, like again, the whole organization, which I thought was pretty funny because Christianity Today has produced some content for the church, but it's also done some entertainment stuff, namely the rise and fall of Mars Hill, which is really just a straight-up hit piece on Mark Driscoll.
I hate that thing so much.
So bad.
Love, hate, or
Mark, we love you.
I think that there was some...
Come on the podcast, Mark.
I think there was some pretty damning stuff that was in that, but that's regardless
Mark,
of whether the other stuff that they brought in. However, I thought the perfect response to that was Mark Driscoll saying, that's interesting.
Josh, hold on. Listen, this is the point, right? Like, everyone's wants to dig out the receipts now. Like, Doge has set a fire. It's like, hey, who's getting all this money from the government? Who are all these people? And just the surprise. No, like, just the best possible scenario here, next to Alex Jones, right?
What?
Mark Driscoll pulls up the donation and contributions list from Christianity Today and posts it on X. Josh, let's see it.
Let's go. So we have the government
Solid
grants
gold.
6 figures, $1,835,073 that goes toward Christianity Today International. Okay, so Mark Driscoll goes.
Which I want to know, what does that even mean?
He points this out, which I thought was pretty funny. You got some.
No,
Karen
don't
here.
go ahead. Go ahead and show him what it says first. You're getting ahead of yourself. He gets so excited, guys. You don't see this on the podcast. Josh gets so excited and he gets ahead of himself. All right, what did Driscoll say when he posted it?
He just says, "I'll just leave this right
I'm
here."
just gonna leave this here. I'm just gonna leave
with
this here.
Nothing else. No other comment.
No other.
Am I
comment.
reading this
We
correctly?
know.
That their total contributions for their organization was like 9 million and change.
9 million.
Yeah.
And so, basically 20% of their entire funding for that year was taxpayer.
Government was taxpayer funded. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I want to
so-
know because I have not been able to figure out for the life of me how to run a Christian organization and get government funding. So I would love to know how they figured this out.
So here's the thing. Let's not move the momentum here
joke.
because let's tell the story because this is hilarious. So Mark Driscoll just leaves it here. And then, Karen here says, and Christianity Today is well-known and trusted organization with good heart as far as I know, although my experiences go back a few years. I'm sure they'd be open to answering questions.
You don't even have to read the comment.
Well, for those on audio, he says, they are an absolute blessing to the body of Christ, and has Ryan Reynolds giving this sarcastic smile smirk.
It would only be better
if
if it was
thing I think
Deadpool.
about all of this is she says, I don't have problems with grants because they have application process and they're typically vetted. I would be curious to know what the grant money was used for referencing Christianity Today. And of course, Mark just says, I have a guess. Could it possibly be the rise and fall of Mars Hill?
Okay. See, this is actually just reprehensible to me that someone who's like, she's on X, right? So she has access to the information. Obviously, she has to have some idea of what's going on. And in the wake of all of these funding receipts and whatnot, someone can say, no, the grant process is usually vetted.
Totally vetted.
Who can have that opinion right now?
You gotta trust the government, okay? Trust the government,
that is an
guys.
excellent point, Tim.
Karen,
Who obviously
you're
the
killing
vetting
me.
process. What is it? Like that they JD Vance goes and says, I don't want these people in our country, and just and the.
I don't care,
Brennan
Margaret.
says, well, they were vetted. No, they were vetted, and he's like the guy that just committed a terrorist act. He was vetted too, apparently. It's so funny.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good point. It's like when we're talking about trust in institutions and the way that they're supposed to manage the money well, obviously it's not being managed well. And what we're seeing is the veil is being torn away, right? Don't look behind, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, Dorothy. Like, this is what we're seeing. So I think it's fair game for everybody to see just the way
accountability
people are
transparency.
utilizing.
Who are these true believers who are looking at this and saying, well, I think the grants are usually vetted.
I believe they pronounce it baby boomers. Boomers. I don't know if it's boomers. Boomers.
They
yeah,
are. Yes, these boomers, these baby boomers are like, no, we totally trust the government.
We totally trust the government.
And we appreciate all of your tax money. My heart goes out to you.
I have two I have 2 houses, and I retired with a federal pension. And my IRA's doing great, and I'm fine. I don't know what everyone else's problem is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm assuming that, I don't look at the statistics. Is our audience not much baby boomers?
No, we have.
If you are, by all means, disagree with me. And
end.
Also, how many houses do you own?
Well, honestly,
you weren't there.
Like,
you weren't in the knife fight.
Right. Well, I mean, if the saying is true, right? Hard times create strong men.
That's right.
Strong men create good times. Good
Is that a
times
Forrest Turning
create
reference?
weak men. And the boomers are the weak men.
They are. They're Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hard times.
In case you didn't notice, Obi-Wan Kenobi was hiding in his nice paid-off house in Tatooine, chilling out until this young dude strolls in, and he's like, "Oh, you mean your dad? Like, wait, the dad you've known about this whole time? I've been living with my uncle, and you're over here in your resort property. Oh, I also have this, his most prized possession, sitting in my chest of treasures. Like, would you like it?" Like,
oh my gosh.
Jeez Louise. All of
make
you.
this stuff up, guys.
All of
make
you.
this stuff up.
Shame.
So here's the thing. But because here's the thing. There's a lot of grants out there. And even to the extent that we talk about, like, can taxpayer money go towards good things occasionally? Sure. Samaritan's Purse takes, things. They're a good Christian organization. And I'm sure there's other charitable organizations, Christian organizations, that receive taxpayer grants that are not intended to be paid back. You could make an argument for it, but it's like
this is my favorite though. This rejoinder that I saw people making in the wake of all of these revelations about grants for this and grants for that and so on. There was a lot of it. People basically saying some variation of, well, like filling out grants and getting them accepted, that's like a lot of work. And I'm just sitting here like, so
do you know what real
the
work
government
is?
to come and take my money at the point of a gun, and you're going to say, but I asked for it in triplicate.
Yeah. Or hey, here's another idea.
I don't really care, Margaret.
How much money did you actually save? How about this? Would you rather have filled out a grant or, I don't know, kept 40% of your paycheck?
Oh my gosh.
For the last, I don't know, forever.
Dude, Josh, check the media tab. I think I might have a clip.
Louise. Hold on.
Well, the other interesting curiosity
it's
too
tax
is
season, so.
there's a with the amount of orgs that have figured out how to get on the money train, that is the money printer of the U.S. federal government, which hopefully is getting stopped right now. Yeah, like there's a possibility that a lot of entities are going to get hamstrung really fast because they've been, how do I say this in the PG version? They have been getting their milk from the mother's source,
suckling at the teat of the taxpayer is what you meant to say.
Yeah, that is true. And I don't know, like I can see how the house of cards might start to fall.
So how do you feel? How would you feel though if it wasn't coming from taxpayer money? What if we got rid of the federal income tax and it was coming completely from other countries' tariffs? Right, the tariffs we have in other countries.
Coming from other countries' tariffs?
The funding for all of this stuff.
Yeah, it makes no difference.
It's my money and I want it now.
Yeah.
There you go.
When you're taxing things, all of it is coming ultimately at the expense of the productive efforts of your own country's economy. Okay? And so to get into the weeds of which specific step of the economic transaction the government is using to extract that, whether it's a sales tax or a tariff or whatever, it actually doesn't make any difference. I mean, it makes a big difference for the government who's trying to orchestrate how they extract it in order to manipulate behavior and create incentives. It matters for them. But in terms of the aggregate drag on the economy that happens just by virtue of taxation, it really doesn't matter where it comes from. Like there's not like a magical step. And so like Europe, they do VAT taxes. You know, Florida does sales tax only. California has huge income and sales tax. You know, like there's a lot of different ways to do it. And at the end of the day,
all of them are theft. What? Sorry.
No, but I mean, what like the whole the whole idea of the tariff though is the money coming in, not even coming from U.S.
But it comes from us because we pay. Because one, there is truth to the fact that those companies will pass a percentage. It may not be as much as people think, but they will pass a percentage of that on to the American people. And also, the reason that we can use tariffs so effectively is because we are the greatest. Like America's greatest superpower right now is consumerism. We eat.
Everybody needs access to the American market. Yeah.
Everybody wants a piece. So we're still paying. Like, it's still the people, it's still built on the back of us.
And case in point, I heard about this little country, is it Canada?
A small territory, a principality.
I was going to say, you mean the state?
A small territory.
And are they a state? That was unclear.
A northern backwater.
They're in process.
Frozen backwater.
Which, by the way, Jordan Peterson just did a whole comment thing about that. It was crazy.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
In general, I find his like government, like economic commentary to be rather lacking.
Well, he used it as an opportunity. He used it as an opportunity to call his fellow Canadians to be more and do better for the next 100 years, or America's going to come take their lunch. And part of me was like, you could just encourage them to say yes.
I thought it was funny. What I thought was funny is that how Trudeau was like, well, United States, we have, you need our natural gas, and we're just going to cut that off to you. And be like, oh, wait, you mean this pipeline that 90% goes through the United States? That's really interesting. That
well, it's even better than that because they have the same anti-pipeline activism there that we have, for example, with respect to the Keystone and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And because of that, they can't even get their own oil from their west to their east without it routing through the United States.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's right.
That's so funny.
And bourbon is better than blended Canadian whiskey. Period.
So,
what are we going to do without Crown Royal? I mean, I need a dice bag for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Oh my gosh.
I need a letter of marque so that we can go
There we go.
Canada.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
Like, look, if Eric Prince got himself a letter of marque from Congress and starts, reforming the Blackwater Army, and its only purpose was to like take out the cartels and conquer seems like an aggressive word considering what that would probably look like, but conquer
neutralize.
Canada. And
there you go.
Pacify. That's still too strong.
Liberate.
Liberate.
There you go.
Provide managed democracy.
Dude, have you seen how the world's going nuts over Trump's Gaza statement yesterday?
I love it.
I don't know, man. I don't want anything to do with.
You guys are
I don't know what his plan is there.
Spoiler alert.
Saying we're going to take control.
But I'm here for it. I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be great.
Sitting back with some popcorn here,
It is fascinating. Hey,
but look,
BB's on board.
If 100 years, almost 100 years of war and infighting and, has just not worked, going and trying to do the same exact thing is not the right strategy.
It's the definition of insanity.
Hats off.
He's an outside-the-box thinker.
Thinking outside the box.
The whole thing is premised on a misunderstanding because, like, in the wake of all of this, like, you had, the pro-Palestine protesters going back out and, waving their flags and all this stuff, free Palestine. And I think Trump just thought, deal.
We will set you free. We will set you so
horrible.
free.
Free
You will be
beachfront
so
property.
free.
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
I
opening
will
up the
set that
floodgates of
whole property
American
free.
real estate.
That's it.
Oh my gosh!
And you know what I love?
Buying up land in
That's
Gaza
it.
like China does a farmland
No,
in the United
that's
States.
100% what he's doing, and I love it. I love that the language that he's using is that of like acquisitions and mergers. It is so good. Like when he was talking about
mean
TikTok, he's like,
empire.
"Yeah, you know, we'll have a stake. We'll have a stake in it. You know, we'll
Would
I
this
feel
be like this could be like a significant U.S. presence in the Middle East? No,
No. It's not going to be like that. It's going to end up being we are gonna control who comes in, but the idea is we're not going to have to
sounds
provide
like what
the
I just
security.
said.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you say? A significant
No.
US
If we're going to control who comes in, it just means it's ours.
Right, but I'm saying it's not a U.S. presence in the sense of like everybody thinks immediately, and I did too initially. I'm like, does this mean we're going to Gaza? And I'm like, well, it sounds like a Marine Corps problem. So, you know, it's not a me problem right now, so I'm okay with it. I
This
love
amphibious landings.
that's it.
Gotta
That's
love the
their
Navy.
bag. It's not ours.
That's
If we
right.
gotta hold it, look, we got the IDF on the outside. They're doing the Army's job. So Marine Corps, Semper
Can
Fi.
we talk about the bigger implication here about the eternal kingdom where the United States slices out a piece of Israel because are the same kingdom?
We're the chosen
An
ones.
Eastern and Western.
I am the
kingdom?
chosen
People
one.
in the land, and we have a stake in the land
I
now.
am the
Didn't we
chosen
do
one.
an episode on replacement theology at one
we
point?
have
I
to
seem
do
to.
it. We have to.
There's
do
so
it.
much going on in that right now.
So easy.
It's crazy.
All right, hey, I gotta go because lice hit my household, and I need to go make sure my wife doesn't have lice. So, till next time,
What a way
folks.
to end.
Like or
All right.
subscribe. We're just like you. We're normal people. We're dads with kids and other responsibilities that we're gonna prioritize over
And
entertaining
blood-sucking
y'all.
parasites.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Blood-sucking parasites. What a great way to finish up an episode on. I'm gonna leave it there.
Just like that. End the